And I was like, yes. And then I go, oh my God, that's a big iconic character. I don't know what I'm doing. But it all turned out okay.
Welcome again, friends and fans, to another episode of GalaxyCon Live, where we are bringing the convention experience directly to you. And today we are going back to the galaxy far, far away with two amazing cast members of Star Wars: The Clone Wars. So without further ado, let us call upon the Force and bring them out. Our first guest is an actress and entrepreneur whose credits include That's So Raven, DC Superhero Girls, and author of the book, It's Your Universe, You Have the Power to Make It Happen. Among Star Wars fans, she is beloved as the originator and voice of Ahsoka Tano. Please welcome Ashley Eckstein.
Hi, Maddie. How are you today?
I am well, Ashley. How have you been doing?
I'm doing great. Doing great. Happy to be here.
Oh, so glad to have you back. It's so wonderful to have you on here because it's also, we're curious because we have so many mutual friends outside of the convention world and everything else, and so many layers of it. So indeed, no person is an island, especially in the Star Wars universe.
No, it's truly, as they say, a small world, but in our case, it's a small universe.
Absolutely, indeed. Well, Ashley, glad to have you back with us again. Glad to see you in good spirit and in good health.
Yes, you too.
Oh, thank you so much. And now let's bring out our next guest. He is an actor whose body of work includes 90210, Timeless and Ultimate Spider-Man. Today he joins us as the voice of Anakin Skywalker. Please welcome Matt Lanter.
Hey, guys. Hey, Patty.
Hey,
Ashley,
Matt.
what's going on?
Hey, Matt. All right, hey, Sky Guy.
You partying here without me?
Oh, it's never a party until you're here.
That's right.
Sky Guy. Oh, yes. That certainly brings back some memories, doesn't it? So, Matt, how are you, first of all?
I'm good, man. I am couldn't be better hanging out here with my pal Ashley and you. We're going to talk some Star Wars, talk some whatever, and what a cool thing to be doing on a Saturday night.
Oh, absolutely. Well, right off the bat, speaking of whatever, from a non-Star Wars perspective, I thought you knocked that out of the park in the times you voiced Aquaman in the various DC animated things. Really good job on that.
Oh,
really.
Yeah, thanks. It's such a iconic character and one that has become cooler in the last couple of years. So I think I was right on the edge of, getting to voice the character as he was in the midst of becoming cooler.
You choose your words very carefully, and I see your point. But yes, you did. You came on board that right away, and you also came on board at a great time to be the voice of Flash Thompson when Agent Venom became an option in that character's arc. So, and both of you, of course, your contributions on Spider-Man are fantastic as well.
Thank you.
Which is a part of the Disney family, the same as Star Wars, and again, in Star Wars, no one is an island or its own constellation. So, Well, guys, welcome to the GalaxyCon virtual stage. As always, we're looking forward to the day when we can once again host you on our physical stages and get you back in front of your fans. In the meantime, we have this online forum. So glad to have you here, Matt, for the first time, and Ashley, of course, so glad to have you back. Our team is going to the chat room right now to pull out the questions. In the meantime, I just want to throw this out. For each of you, what's been the best thing about being such an important part of the Star Wars universe?
Wait, can I just pause and say, how great are Ashley and I at, would it be over here for me? at syncing our backgrounds, and we didn't even know. I promise you, we're not in the same location.
It is. Yeah, you guys could be across from each other side by side. Yeah.
But you know what? We're always going to be connected through the Force, Matt.
True.
The Force.
I sense you from your location. Where are you? Are you in Disney World proper right now?
Practically.
Yeah.
Practically. I was just at Disney yesterday.
Awesome. All right. So, Patty, you're asking about the best thing about Star Wars universe. Ashley, do you want to take it?
Besides getting to work with each other.
No.
Yeah. I will say, I'll give a two-part answer because, with Matt being here, we were so blessed that our cast became our family.
Yeah.
For all of the, for not all shows do you get to record as a cast. Oftentimes you record by yourself, and especially, in the middle of COVID, you record by yourself. And so you really don't get to know the cast. But we were very fortunate that Dave Filoni stressed that it was important to have a cast record from the beginning. And so, Matt and I know we tell the story every time, but like Matt and I really have like that brother-sister relationship. And I kind of set that tone the first session when I told you like what was what?
It was, you laid it down. It was, yeah, it might have been first or second, probably first. Yeah, you weren't shy about it. Ashley goes, I don't remember exactly verbatim, but you were basically like, this is brother sister. There's no romance here. There's nothing happening. I'm like, okay, all right. Read the script first. Like,
well, the backstory on that is that I had actually been recording the voice of Ahsoka for a couple of months before Matt came on board. And so I was very familiar with the character at this point. And it was already well established that Ahsoka and Anakin were very much like brother and sister. So I was just trying to like help set the tone, but we have a good laugh at it now. But really, I mean, Matt just became like one of my brothers, and D. Bradley Baker and James Arnold Taylor he's very much like Obi-Wan, So yeah, I love, and then Kat Tabor is like another sister. So I love the relationship with the cast. And then I also love the fans. I get very, very defensive when it comes to Star Wars fans, because Star Wars fans have changed my life and changed it for the better. I've just been truly blessed by getting to know some of the kindest people from around the world. And so I would say, just the family that I've gained through Star Wars, both fans and cast and crew.
Yeah. The love that you certainly have expressed for Star Wars fandom is revered. It really is, and the fact that you have been an ambassador and a voice and a proponent of fandom, and let's face it, Star Wars fandom is going through a lot. And I think you said earlier that some people have kind of given it said that there's a little bit of salt in the sugar, and I'm like, I agree that there is. But people are perceiving it as way much more salt than that there truly is.
Yeah.
I think that the fandom is good, the fandom is strong, and the continued success of Star Wars is a testament to that.
Yeah. No, I've been the recipient of a whole bunch of sugar.
Not from Anakin.
Well, what about you, Matt?
Oh man. Well, wait. Let me touch on that actually, because I remember the relationship. I remember when we first started, there was a lot of like, what do you call it? Like deviant art of like Anakin, Ahsoka.
Deviant art? What's that? I've never heard. Let me look it up right now.
But listen, I think that as fans understood Ahsoka and really like who she was, and they started to love the character. I think they like, I mean, I don't know, maybe I just didn't like see any more of that, but I don't know. I guess I think they seem to accept Ahsoka more and more for who she was, and not just somebody or some character to kind of like, fantasize whatever they want to do with. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, the fans to me, what's awesome about Star Wars is that it's such a huge, like mass group of people, but it still feels intimate and like a family. Yeah. And I love that our Ashley, our group of actors and Dave and everybody and everyone at Lucasfilm feels like a family. But then that kind of other circle of fans, we all still feel like a family, like a Star Wars family. And that is the thing that I love most about being a part of this, is that it feels like there's a common bond. Like, when you run into a Star Wars fan, or you see somebody driving with like a bumper sticker on the back, I want to pull over and talk to that person. And it feels like I know them already, and I think that's the greatest thing about Star Wars fandom, is just that. It's just, we have a common bond, and we're a part of something. And especially like, not to get all serious, but like in this time right now, in the last year or two, where the world is just so divided with just everything, I love that we still have Star Wars that brings us together. So not to get all mushy and stuff, but it really, I mean, that is truly like one of the reasons I just love this universe.
Very much so. And if I have to praise both of your performances throughout all this. Ashley had to play a character that I think whether it was intended to or not, that came off as, oh, okay, one of these, oh my gosh, really once. And my goodness, what over the slow burn, we saw her just mature and grow and this character, everything else. And then you, Matt, you had the unenviable and highly challenging task of playing this character that we knew his destiny. We knew it wasn't going to end well for him. And those moments of seeing this is Anakin, and then those light moments of, we can see the being he's going to become slightly emerging at times.
Yeah, Dave and George from the very get-go were very, they were taking a different path with Anakin in the Clone Wars, which is such a brilliant move, because I think, a lot of times Anakin gets a bad rap in the prequels. Hayden had such a small window of time to take this, young bratty kid into like the most villainous, evil guy of the entire universe, right? It's just not very much time to make that spiral. And so I think what was really interesting about Dave and George in the beginning is that they very much wanted to see Anakin as the hero. And so when he finally did turn, when we finally see him in Revenge of the Sith, it's just heartbreaking because we know him. And we didn't get to know him in the two prequel films, the three, but the two that Hayden played,
Yeah, it was that, it was, and that's the adventure and the unique thing about it, that the prequels are a tragedy.
Yeah,
they are a tragedy in a certain sense. If you go beyond that, in the greater context of the Star Wars saga, it ends well for everybody, or about as best it can be. Although Tano's eventual fate is still yet to be written in the stars.
Yes. But I want to give Matt a shout out, because obviously I feel like we all fell in love with Anakin even more than we already did through the Clone Wars. And a lot of that is it's him. Like the hero Anakin, who everyone loves, is really kind of who Matt is. So a lot of why we fall in love with Anakin is what Matt brought to the character. So
very kind, thank you.
Sky Guy.
Yes, again, and before we go to all these questions, I'll just throw this out. Again, as a lifelong Star Wars fan and a continuing Star Wars fan and an eternal Star Wars fan, I thank you both for your talents, and I thank you for these performances, and I thank you for your professionalism. It's you brought energy, you brought life to these characters, and with yourselves and Filoni and his team of animators and the whole group that brought it together. Thank you, really, for doing this, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Absolutely. And I've even felt, and of course, and I gotta give a shout out too, felt sorry for the security guy in that one episode of Mandalorian. It was, the standoff there.
I know.
Those guys.
He had a name, and then I don't even think he got credited with a name.
I couldn't find it. I looked it up, and he was just security guy. So.
New Republic soldier.
Yes.
He said his name was Davin. Like, come on, give the guy a little bit of credit.
I know. It was like, it's something. So
what was interesting, and we can move in because I know we're not talking about this, but I shot more stuff for that that got cut. We didn't see it. I had a scene where I was dying, and the Mandalorian came over, and he was like over top of me, and I'm, Davin was, as he's dying, his last breath, telling the Mandalorian like, oh, you're better than this, and all kinds of stuff. So I was sad to see that little scene got cut, but but it made sense to me because as an audience, we already know he was better than that. We already know who he is. So we didn't need New Republic soldier telling the audience that the Mandalorian was better than the bounty hunters he was with. So from a storytelling standpoint, I get it. That's one thing I got to give Dave props is like, I feel like I've learned so much from a storytelling perspective watching Dave. And Ashley, I don't know how you feel about that, but I just feel like I have learned so much from him in that department.
Oh, definitely. I learned Star Wars through him.
Right.
I thought I was a Star Wars fan prior to starting on the Clone Wars, but I very quickly realized I wasn't once you meet Dave Filoni. And he taught me a lot.
Yeah. 2 generations of Star Wars fans have, for all intents and purposes, learned Star Wars from Dave and his body of work. Clone Wars and the modern stuff and everything else. So, and again, the gig that keeps gigging and the joy forever. All right, let's hit our audience questions. What's our first one? This is going to come from Razor. Ooh, were you a Star Wars fan before?
Well, actually, you were talking about it. Go for it.
Yeah, I say.
I mean, yes. I was first watched Star Wars when I was a toddler, and always loved Star Wars. But again, I said I was a Star Wars fan, and then you meet somebody like Dave Filoni, and you're like, oh, I have a lot to learn.
Yeah.
So I would definitely call myself a fan now. But yes, I've been drawn to Star Wars ever since I was a young girl.
Yeah, I really can't say that I was a fan. I mean, I think I saw Attack of the Clones first when I was a teenager in my room, just eating popcorn, saw a movie. I didn't really know anything about it, to be honest. I mean, I knew the characters because I think the character, Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader and Princess Leia, they're iconic characters. You're under a rock if you don't know what those characters are. But I'd never seen it. I think that was my first. I watched the prequels first, and then I watched the OGs after, and didn't really know the story until actually I booked the job. After I booked the job, then I went and I really watched to understand the story and how it all intertwined in the characters, and of course how Anakin fit in. And that's really where I got my first taste of understanding Star Wars.
There you go. And the rest is history. Yeah, Razor, thank you. Good one to start us off with. What do we have next? From Maggie. What is your favorite part of being in the recording studio?
I think that, aside from just knowing that you're creating Star Wars and knowing that millions of people are going to enjoy what you're doing eventually and down the road and for years to come, obviously that's a special feeling. It's magic knowing that you're a part of Star Wars, knowing that you're a part of something that's so loved and you're a small piece of the puzzle, but yet there aren't that many people in the world that get to say they make Star Wars. And then, of course, I think the big thing is just, the cast. It's Ashley and it's James and it's Kat and it's Dee and it's Corey and the friends that I've made. And, now we've been working on this, Ashley, since like 2006 or something like that.
2006, yeah.
And we still, Ashley and I
together.
Yeah. Ashley and I were on the phone with each other the other day and text and same with James. And so being in the room with all those guys and just seeing my friends again and again and again and playing. I always say voiceover work is like being in a sandbox when you were a kid. Like we all did it at some point, whether it was with Army Men or Barbies or whatever, or dinosaurs. We all gave life and voices to these characters. And now we just we get paid to do it, which is insane. But
yeah, I ditto to everything Matt said. But it's funny. I was just telling someone this story yesterday, actually. About being in the studio and Matt, it was when we recorded the big scene with Ahsoka and Vader in Rebels. And they were asking, I'm trying to remember, they were asking about, I don't know, maybe one of my favorite scenes to record, but the bond that we all had made it really easy to perform some of these really intense scenes. And that one in particular, I remember because, Clone Wars was canceled and at the end of season 5 and none of us were expecting it. So we didn't get that chance to say goodbye. We didn't get that last record where we could sign each other's scripts and all cry and give each other hugs. And so, I always yearned for that time in the studio again together. And when, we found out that Matt was coming back in for that scene or a couple scenes in Rebels, it was such a gift because again, at that point realized we didn't know that Clone Wars was going to come back. That was just that was never going to happen. So when Matt came in for Rebels, honestly, I thought that could be the last time we ever record together.
Yeah.
So just like Ahsoka was saying goodbye to Vader in a way, I mean, even though it was a fight, but it was literally like the realization that their relationship was over. It was kind of me saying goodbye to Ahsoka and Anakin. And in turn, Matt and I, like, I didn't know if we'd ever be in the studio again together. And I remember, like, it was real emotion. Like, I was crying. My heart was beating outside of my chest. And Matt, I don't know if you remember, but we didn't really record that scene too many times. I mean, we got it in, a fair amount of takes. And I think it's because we're definitely, it was like life imitating art. We were in the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Dave is great with that. Just letting us kind of do what we do. And then, of course, he'll shift or give a few notes if he feels like it. But he was always so trustworthy with all these roles, especially as time went on, that these sessions were just fun. And, it wasn't a stressful thing. It was a fun thing. And I think, another credit to Dave and how they recorded us, and this sort of is backing up what Ashley's saying, is that a lot of other voiceover projects, you record by yourself. Or you kind of come in, you do your lines, and they get you out of there. With Dave, I think it was very, very on purpose to we all recorded together in the same room, like an old radio play. And so you do this over and over and over, and you go to premieres together, and you go to Skywalker Ranch together, and you go to Texas together, and you go to California. That bond in the room is real. And so what Ashley's talking about, I mean, yeah, that bond is real. And it's kind of funny how that relationship, how we've grown to just really know each other and care about each other. And, that relationship, it is real. It's in the room. And I think that was real with everybody, it's Anakin and Obi-Wan and Ahsoka. And so that made things really, really real during those kind of scenes where we didn't know if we were going to see each other again. And it was
really like each other.
What's that?
I said, we really like each other.
We actually do like each other. It's crazy. I know. Ashley seems really tough to like get along with, but I like her. But no, it's like the story of Star Wars, I guess, particularly for Anakin and Ahsoka, it's that thing where, we were together, we had a bond, and now we're kind of going our separate ways. Life goes on. We're not really sure what's going to happen, but life goes on. And so it was real in that regard.
Can I tell you one thing? I mean, in an uncanny way, and trust me, I have not tried for it because there's been some really devastating things in Ahsoka's storyline that have happened to me. But almost like verbatim, like things that have happened to Ahsoka have happened to me just in, over the course of really the past, 13 years? I've 13 or 14 years. And it was really a sad but kind of poetic at the same time. My very last Clone Wars record ever, I was by myself in the studio. Nobody was there. Dave and everyone had to be via Skype. And it was truly my last session. And I walked out alone. Just like Ahsoka walked away alone at the end of the Clone Wars.
Can you guys hit that cry break? We're just need a 5-minute cry, and we're going to be back.
Wow.
I know. It was so sad, but anyways, but here we are. Here we are.
And going by what you said though about the final confrontation at Rebels when Matt came back and that the eye through the Vader mask, and we hear Anakin's voice, but it belongs to Darth Vader now. That was one of the best scenes in all of Star Wars history.
What a brilliant thing to do that Dave did with combining my voice and James Earl Jones. It was so cool because you hear Vader, but you hear Anakin.
Yeah.
And it's like, and just the visual, the symbolism of it all. Yeah. It's there. It's Vader, but somewhere in there, like Anakin's still there, but he's gone. It's just. I mean, it's giving me chills right now talking about it.
And Ahsoka, she gets that final confirmation. She's like, the man I knew is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and Ahsoka, I feel like really stands into her own power. When she says, I know Jedi.
Yeah.
So people really, I mean, me included, really resonate with that line because it's really her, I think, like standing on her own 2 feet, kind of making a statement.
Wow.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the only other
it's deep, man. It's deep.
Hey, the only other character that's ever broke away from that is Skywalker himself at the end of Jedi, when he's like, Obi-Wan and Yoda keep telling me I gotta kill him, but I'm gonna go in my direction, go my own way. Yeah. And a lot of Star Wars mythology is hinged on an intractable belief, and then somebody who says, you know what, can we try something a little different? Just because it might be a better moral decision. So absolutely. Maggie, thank you. That was a great question. What do we have next? Here's one from Dylan. What was your reaction when you learned you were going to be a part of the Star Wars family?
I remember, first of all, getting the call that I got the job, and I was like, yes! And then I go, oh my God, that's a big, iconic character. I don't know what I'm doing. But it all turned out okay.
Yeah. I mean, I had the same first reaction. I was like, oh my gosh, it's Star Wars, because I didn't think I was going to get the part. I thought my callback was terrible. I thought there was no way I booked the part. And I didn't find out for, it was at least 6 weeks afterwards, maybe almost 2 months. So it took a long time to find out. But, for me, I instantly felt like I won the lottery because, being a Star Wars fan, it's like, okay, wow, now I'm a part of Star Wars. But then I had no clue who I was playing.
Same.
Wow.
So when did you find, because I remember when you auditioned, you didn't know, right?
Well, right. Yeah. I didn't, they told me I was auditioning for Deke Starkiller, and I tried to do internet research on Deke Starkiller and try it. You're not going to find much. I mean, maybe now, because it's me talking about Deke Starkiller.
Well, Starkiller has been a term in Star Wars.
But
so you probably found stuff like that.
In like 2006, there just wasn't much content on Starkiller.
Yeah.
So I just went in and I was like, I'll do what I do. But I got the call, Ashley, and then on the call, they told my reps, I think, and then my reps were like, by the way, this is for Anakin Skywalker, and he's actually one of the leads of the series. Because I had no idea. I had no idea if I was going in for like a 2-liner random character, and so that was all hidden. That call was like, hey, you're Anakin. Welcome to the family. You're the lead of the series. We're gonna do this for a while.
No big deal.
Yeah.
How long was it till you guys were allowed to like tell people?
A long time.
Yeah. I mean, so I started working in February of 2006. I mean, all I knew going into my first session was that I was playing a new character named Ahsoka Tano. I actually recently found my first offer letter, and I posted it to Instagram.
Cool.
And it was like from a typewriter. I mean, it was like so cool.
It was Western Union. Hello.
I know.
I've got your milk here, and I've got a telegram for you.
Yeah, exactly. But I didn't find out who she was, what she was about, what was going to be her storyline until literally my first session. And so that was February 2006. And, the movie didn't come out until August 2008. And I don't really think they started sharing really anything about the show or the characters until the couple months leading up to it. So, we couldn't tell a single soul for at least a year. And then we could,
I was going to say that too. When you said the time frame, my gut was like, it was at least a year, at least.
Yeah.
Before we could say anything. I think we were all under NDAs. Like, you don't want to mess with a big company like Lucasfilm.
I know.
Yeah.
I feel like we still are. I feel like we signed our life away in an NDA.
I think we did.
Yeah.
Hey, let's roll another one. What do you have here from Tatiana? What was your favorite episode to record and why?
I don't. I've got a lot of favorites. Like some of these ending episodes where Anakin and Ahsoka had got to have real heart to hearts, and that iconic image of Anakin facing Ahsoka on the Jedi Temple stairs is so great. But I always go back to the Mortis arc for me. It just really stands out. Well, nothing against you, Ashley. It really.
Oh no! I said me too.
Oh, okay. I thought you were like, what the heck? I go back to the Mortis arc because it was so different for all of us, and it just over the 5, 6, whatever 7 seasons we did, I guess, that we did. It just really stood out as much different and very cerebral and very intelligent and mythical and for Anakin, that was where you really got to like see some emotion out of him and depth and kind of that future of what's to come, and it was just so interesting to me. So that's why I always just kind of go back to the Mortis arc.
Sure. Yeah. It's so funny, Matt, because I always say the Mortis arc. There was something special about that arc. And as actors, there was so much to do. There was like dark side. I mean, Ahsoka. I mean, she was like older Ahsoka, dark side Ahsoka, and then Ahsoka literally died, which a lot of people I feel like glazed over. Ahsoka actually died, and the daughter brought Ahsoka back to life. And so there's so much in those episodes, and they're so beautiful. And I remember the recording of those episodes like it was yesterday, in the studio. But I do love the season 5 finale episode. I feel like that episode in so many ways was just life changing. Like it's just for it being the last episode of Clone Wars with us out without even realizing it, that moment for Star Wars fans is iconic. That moment means a lot to Star Wars fans. And it's just emotional. It's just in so many ways, it's just iconic. So I would say those moments are some of my favorite.
Yeah, I Ashley, you're so right. It's like life changing, and I think it was that for the characters. And I know we've already sort of said it, but it was that for us. There's like there's a feeling of uncertainty in the future, both in the characters and for us. I mean, like as actors who are going like, so what are we going to do now? Like, what's our next thing? What's our next job? Are we going to work again? Because we all of us actors do that. We're never going to work again. But it was that, and it's just it's one of those like moments in your life, like to compare to like going off to college, graduating. It's a life event,
Yeah.
So yeah.
Very much so. Tatiana, thank you. There's a wonderful question. What do we have next? From Logan. Do you own any lightsabers?
Yes. And they're usually like right by my side. And I use them for something. I was like...
You were dueling someone?
I was my nephew actually. I mean, literally my lightsabers are like always near. And actually, Matt, I just bought Vader's lightsaber at Galaxy's Edge at Disney World. Just bought it the other day.
I've never been to Galaxy's Edge. I know.
What?
I know.
We have to change that.
I know.
And I want to show you around. It has to happen. I think McKinley, she wants to come visit Aunt Ahsoka.
She does. What did she say, Ashley, the other day? She said, what did I tell you she said?
She called me Aunt Asky.
Aunt Asky.
Oh.
That's my daughter. She's 3. She's just turned 3. Aunt Asky. Yes. I do own lightsabers as well. I've got several of those plastic ones. And then I've got the Anakin, the light up one.
Sure.
Although I've had it so long now, I think it's like corroded, like the batteries are corroded and it doesn't work anymore. So I have to
pop the batteries out and do a little cleaner and get the contact points to be good as new.
Yeah, pour some Coke in there, right?
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't work already, so might as well give it a try. But yeah, I need to get a new saber. Yeah.
Well, go with Ashley to Galaxy's Edge and get yourself one.
I should.
All right. You should still have a main gate, I should hope. All right, Logan, thank you. Great one. What do we have next from Winter? Who's your favorite evil character in Star Wars? Huh.
I mean, to me, it's Darth Vader because it's Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah.
And the bond. I've always liked Darth Vader, but because of Ahsoka and Anakin, it's like I just feel for Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll kind of go away from like the mains. I really enjoy Cad Bane a lot.
Yeah.
He's just so cool. Corey Burton's awesome.
Yeah.
And Cad Bane's just so cool. He's so slick, and he's got that voice. It's just great. It's so like Western in Star Wars. It's perfect. So I really enjoy watching them. I actually like Jabba too. I don't know why. He's just like both of them. They're just so unforgiving. You have to respect him.
And who can forget Stinky? Stinky brought us together, Matt.
Yeah. That's true.
Still don't think the Emperor is going to be my all-time favorite, but Winter, thank you. Great one. And what do we have next? Here's one from Taylor. Do you prefer voice acting or live action?
It's totally different. I mean, at its core, it's the same. It's still acting. You're still finding that emotion, especially with what we were doing in Star Wars, where the characters had real emotion going on. But it's just totally different. You're worried about certain things with live action. You're worried about hitting marks, lighting, not blocking someone else's light. You have to work with your wardrobe, which is sometimes not great. So you have all those freedoms when you're voice acting, but the flip side of that is that you don't have the other actor in front of your face here. Usually you don't have props. You don't have the wardrobe. You don't have the sets. It's all in here, So I really enjoy both for different reasons.
Fair.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy both as well. What a lot of people don't realize is that the bulk of my acting experience is in live action. Ahsoka was my first voiceover role. I think it was yours too, Matt, right? Like big voiceover role?
But definitely like first big
like
one.
a big one. Yeah, I had done a couple of small jobs, but I moved to LA back in 2001 and I primarily did television. I did a little bit of film, but primarily TV. So I love live action. And Matt said it, but one thing I like to point out, because I see this online so much and I feel like I need to stand up for all voice actors, because at its core, it's acting.
Absolutely.
And I think it's a great piece of advice because a lot of people, they want to know how to get into voice acting. Well, I say,
take acting classes.
Take acting classes, yeah, because voice acting is acting. And to kind of marginalize voice actors and say, well, they're just a voice actor. They can't do live action or they can't do that. It's just unfair to voice actors, because voice actors are actors. And like Matt just mentioned, Corey Burton. I mean, Corey Burton is, oh my gosh, one of the most brilliant actors. Like to watch him in his chair literally physically change. Like he would physically change when he would become Cad Bane.
Yeah.
That is acting. And so, it's technically, to Matt's point, they're very different, and they both have their pros and cons. But at its core, it's the same. And I love to dive into a good character, and I mean, a character like Ahsoka Tano is one in a million.
Watching someone like Corey Burton or D. Bradley Baker work it's really, really incredible. I mean, first of all, they're good at vocal manipulation, but I'm talking about like the creativity to create a character is it's amazing. So yeah, absolutely. I mean, acting is it's sinking yourself into a character and breaking down a character and creating, and that's what these people are doing. So.
I wrote Corey Burton my first fan voiceover email, and like 1999, something like that, or 98 when email first came out, and I tracked him down. I was just like, hey, you did Hans Conried imitation for Closet Cases of Nerd Kind, right? Goes like, yes, I did. It's like, you remember that? Yeah. So that was, but Corey Burton, a living legend. Absolutely.
A living legend. And what's cool about the voiceover community, which I love being a part of, is that everybody is so nice, kind, cool, and normal. I mean, I guess I can say it because I got a foot in both worlds, but like, if you see a very, very successful on-camera actor, sometimes they tend to not be like the most just, kindest, normal people out there. But like someone like Corey Burton is so unassuming. One of the greatest talents that we have is in the voice acting community. The guy walks in with just glasses, very unassuming. He's got a briefcase, maybe a Hawaiian shirt on, and just like the nicest guy.
Yeah.
So.
And yeah, Ashley, of course, I have to echo what you say. Again, in conventions, the question always comes up, what advice you give me of voice acting? And sometimes I just, as the host, I'll just say, look, the short answer is be an actor. That's just really what it is. But we have a minute to let, but just to throw it out there, what any further advice would you give to someone besides that one who would want to pursue that line of work?
Well, I would say, watch your movies. Listen to the voiceover. Like, watch the Clone Wars. Watch your favorite animated series, but listen to what they're doing with that character. Listen to how they give the character life. Watch. I would suggest try to find the scripts to some of your favorite movies. Read the script and then watch the screen, and you can see what the actor is doing with just the words on the page. That's great advice for me. I mean, I do think acting class is great, but I'm more of one of those people that learns by doing. Mm-hmm. So I would also say, like, buy a Canon Rebel DSLR for like $600 and start making your own stuff. Like, make your own movie, like make your own shorts. It's so simple now. Technology has gotten so far. Just start doing.
Yes,
and you'll figure it out.
Yeah. Kids today have the technology to record professional stuff at home, and they have YouTube and other streaming formats to just put their stuff on out there. And so, office to you kids today, you got it so easy.
No, I ditto everything Matt said, so not going to repeat any of that. But to tack on to that, once you start doing, and whether you're doing it on your own or taking classes and auditioning, you just can't give up. And I know that sounds cliche, and I know everyone says it, but it really is the truth. I know I say this a lot, but I think it's important to point out. I auditioned for 4 years for voiceover before I booked Ahsoka. And, as I mentioned, I moved to LA for on-camera acting, and I was fortunate to start that right away because I'd been acting since I was 12. And so I was able to jump right in on camera, but voiceover was hard. And literally, I mean, hundreds of auditions. I equate it to about 400 auditions. Yeah. And I literally booked maybe a commercial or two. I did book a lead character, actually twice, a lead character in a series, and then I was recast, which unfortunately happens a lot in voiceover. And so
I was a recast.
What?
I was I was recast for Star Wars. That people might not know that.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I had been recording Ahsoka prior, to Matt coming in, and so unfortunately it happens quite a bit. And so I was pretty devastated, and in many ways pretty beaten down, and I could have easily given up. But had I given up, I never would have become the voice of Ahsoka. And so I dislike the term overnight success because there's really no overnight success. Behind every overnight success is someone that's worked their butt off to get there. And it's just the first time that you're hearing about them. And so I just, honestly, if you're going to get into this business, you just have to keep going.
Absolutely. Ashley, Matt, this has been an absolute delight. Any final words for our audience before we go?
Ooh.
I mean, just the, thanks for everyone tuning in, obviously, to watch this here, and kind of on a bigger scale. Thank you to all the fans out there who watch the Clone Wars and are supporting other projects that I'm doing, and obviously that Ashley's doing as well. And just thank you guys so much. We wouldn't be here doing this if you guys didn't care to watch and have fun with us and nerd out about Star Wars with us. So thank you.
Yeah, no, ditto. Thank you guys so much. It's really helped me through this pandemic as well, getting to connect with everyone via GalaxyCon and on social media and in other ways. So it's just a huge thank you. And I'll leave you with this, Matt, and I think you would agree, after all of these years of doing these characters, years ago, I started a hashtag Ahsoka Lives. But after Star Wars Clone Wars, I updated it to be Ahsoka Lives in all of us. Because I feel like, and even Anakin as well, like these characters that we've grown to just love, truly, are in our hearts and in our soul, and like all the lessons and the wisdom that they taught us. Absolutely. I feel like we take them with us throughout our daily lives. So I feel like Ahsoka lives in all of us now, and Anakin lives in all of us, because the wisdom that Ahsoka learned is really from Anakin. So
it's true.
So I think it's a lesson that I learned.
Very cool.
Ahsoka lives, Anakin lives, and may the Force be with all of us.
Yes. All right.
GalaxyCon viewers, thanks for tuning in. As always, we'll see you next time. Until then, bye-bye. Take care, and please keep washing those hands.